Uh-oh.
Oh, wow. Did you guys hear that? All right. There we go. It's being recorded. We got it. Okay. So I wanted to just get into talk a little bit about what we're going to do today, which is something called a mandala. If you've seen pictures of mandalas, a lot of times they have them in the adult coloring books, right? It's a circle, kind of has different patterns. So the idea in yoga is that it's kind of like a big circle and that you end up where you started. Little things happen inside that circle and go on and affect us, right? But the idea is to know that no matter what happens on our mat as we're going through the poses, what directions we turn, we can always end up standing on our feet at the top of the mat. So we're going to kind of think about that in life, right? Things happen, but we can always end up landing on our feet, right? And back where we started. So things can always get better. It's that idea, right? That going around full circle. So that's what we're going to keep in mind as we go through our practice today. Now, the reason I'm bringing it up is because we are going to be doing a portion, and I'm just going to show you quickly one of the mandalas. So we're going to start, and this is just a quick example of it. So we're coming down to our feet. We'll come up, we'll come around, okay? And then we're going to turn to the back of the room, and we'll be doing some poses there. And we'll do some poses toward the back of the room. We'll come back around and end up back at the front, okay? So know that you're not confused if you see me facing backwards. I know I sometimes get a little confused with directions and stuff with the camera. So try to listen auditorily, okay, and listen to the keys just in case it looks like we're going in opposite directions. But just know that half of it is going to be facing the back of the room, and we'll end up back around at the front. All right. So just keep that in mind. Hopefully it won't be too confusing on the camera. I'll try to keep it as clear as I can. All right. So let's get started. We're going to start today in child's pose. So child's pose, you're on your knees, sit bones come back, arms are going to be out in front. You can soften your forehead on one of your blocks or a pillow. If this is terrible on your knees, always know that you can come onto your belly and lay on your stomach in a crocodile pose. But if you can hang out here for a little bit, it kind of gives us that little stretch in the knees. It allows us to get into the hips a little bit. So if you can tolerate it, but if the knees can't, always know whenever we're in these child's pose, you can come onto your belly into crocodile pose. So listen to your body. Remember, we've talked about many times, your body's your teacher. I'm just here to lead you through poses. So listen to your body. Don't force anything. Just find your own personal edge and be kind to yourself. So we're going to start to tune into our yoga breathing, right? Which is breathing in and out through the nose and breathing to the belly. So take a moment to just let your breath find its own natural flow. Start to notice the quality of the breath at your nostrils and at your lungs. Give yourself a brief body scan now, head to feet, and notice any areas of tension or strain. And it might feel a little differently because we're starting in a different pose today, right? There's always different ways to start the class and to start centering. So know that it might feel a little different. We're already challenging ourselves a little bit more. Notice your energy level. Then take a quick moment to scan your mind, the quality of your thoughts, your emotions. How are you starting your day emotionally? And then after checking in with these areas, give yourself a moment to give some attention to those areas that need it. Let your full breath bring energy. Let the rhythm of your breath bring calmness, peace, joy. For any areas that feel tight, or stuck physically. Remember, where your mind goes, energy can go. So you can almost imagine yourself breathing into those spaces. Every inhale can fill that space, create space, become more expansive. Every exhale can carry the tension away. Now begin to move into your controlled yoga breathing. Inhale a little more deeply. Exhale completely. Allow that deep breath to become even. Length of inhale matches length of exhale. And smooth. Each breath flows right into the next. Become familiar with this breathing because we're going to carry it with us through our practice at rest, during poses, when we're holding, when we're moving in and out of them. The breath is the key. So now thinking about that mandala, that starting where we ended, right? And just kind of knowing different things are going to happen in between, but we can always come back where we started. We'll begin to move. So let's inhale, come forward, shift your weight forward, let your hips sink, draw your shoulders back. Little stretch here now. On the exhale, press the sit bones back, long spine, reaching out through the fingers. Inhale, coming forward, sink the hips. Exhale, reaching back. So just close your eyes here. See if you can just move with your own breath. We're making that breath-body connection, which is naturally calming for the nervous system, right? Doing this can almost activate your parasympathetic nervous system. So we get out of that fight or flight response that we tend to carry around with us so often throughout the day. The next time you come forward, let's hold it just for a moment. So let those hips sink a little bit, soften your elbows, draw the shoulders back, and just stretch out the upper body, the chest. Breathe. Remember, we're thinking about keeping our abdominals engaged. So you're thinking about those hip points, drawing up to your low ribs. What does that mean to you? That's core engagement. On your next exhale, press your sit bones back. Come back into your child's pose. Walk your fingers a little bit forward if you can. See if you can grab into the mat and pull your arms a little bit longer. And then we'll press into the fingertips and lift your palms off the floor. So you're causing a little resistance here as you press into those fingertips and soften your head. Now we'll flatten the hands. We'll take a little walk to the right, keeping the sit bones as square to the heels as you can. Coming over as far as you can to the right. Soften your head once you're there, and let's press into those left fingertips. Lift the palm off the floor. Get a little bit deeper into that left shoulder. As you feel yourself breathing, see if you can bring your awareness to that left rib cage. Imagine every inhale, you can feel those ribs pull apart a little bit like an accordion. And on the exhale, they come back together. Now let's take a little walk through center all the way over to the left. Check in on that right sit bone. Is it pulling away from the heel? Even if you're not sitting on the heels, you can still feel it kind of pull up. If it is, even it out a little bit. Then press into your right fingertips. Make your little tent with your right hand. Feel that deeper stretch right here in your armpit. Play those right ribs like an accordion. Fill them and let them come back. Let's return back to center. Take those arms one little inch further. Big breath in. Big breath out. Big breath in. We're going to rise up to tabletop. So let's take our tabletop here, spreading the fingers. So you want your fingers as wide as you can get them. Plant them on the floor. This is great for the hands, for the joints, right? So we want to keep that strength and muscles working in the hands. So we're having the wrists beneath the shoulders and we're spreading the fingers, gripping the mat with the fingertips, the knuckles at the base of your fingers, all of this together, and the heels and palms of your hands. That's going to give you even weight in the hands. The balance, the weight of your body is balanced on the hands. So it's not all at the fingertips. It's not all at the heel of the hand. We're balancing that weight. Now let's think about pressing into the low legs. Now you want your knees beneath your hips. Press into those low legs. You're pushing them into the mat. Tailbone reaches back, crown reaches forward. So once you're there, if you're actively pushing into those contact points, you're going to feel your abdominals are on a bit. That's tabletop. Back of the neck is long. Now let's begin to move in and out of our cat-cow. On your exhale, navel to spine, chin to chest. Feel that space between your shoulder blades. And then on your inhale, let your sit bones open, belly drops. Pull the shoulders back, shoulders down away from the ears here, right? Exhale. Cat pose. Inhale. Cow. Continue to move with your breath. Get as much movement here in the spine as you can. Next time you exhale, bring your toes together to touch. Take your knees wide and press your sit bones back toward your heels. Slide your arms forward. Take a wide leg child's pose. So knees are out toward the outer edges of the mat. Long spine. Tune back into your breath. Deep, easy breath. And rise back up. So let's work a little bit more into the shoulders and the wrists here. So now we're going to take our hands, turn them out to the outer edges. The fingertips are pointed to the outer edges of the mat. Let's just sort of shift side to side a little bit. Get into your wrists a little bit more. So your upper body's just shifting side to side. Then start to make a clockwise circle. Just sort of rotating in a circle here. Yeah. Nice. Then reverse the direction. Last time around. Now let's turn the hands so the fingertips are facing each other. Same thing, side to side. Nice. Let's move into that clockwise circle. And then the other way. Sophie did escape and got in here, so if you hear her breathing or snoring, know that it's not me, it's the dog. And if it gets bothersome, just give me a little yell and I can take her out of the room. Last time around. All right, let's take a moment. Return back to your heels. Give your wrists a little shake because we're going to work a little bit more into these wrists here. All right, let's come on back up. Now we're going to turn outwardly the fingers, turn them around and see if you can point them toward the knees. So now the back side of your wrist here, right, is facing forward. Not used to that position, right? You might feel enough already. If you can take a little bit more, just start to scoot your hips back and I'll turn sideways. So you're just sort of pressing your sit bones toward your heels, any amount. It might not go very far. It's a pretty deep stretch. And release. Nice. Let's give our wrists some attention. You can grab a hold and just pull one down, pull the other, make a light fist and circle. Nice. Other way. All right, let's take our tabletop again. So now we're going to work something similar to cat-cow, only now we're going to focus just on the upper back. So press in, belly's on. What I want you to do is push through your hands and round through the shoulder, just the shoulders, upper back, and then sink. Hug your spine with your shoulder blades. Exhale, push in and release. Exhale, inhale. So notice I'm not rounding the low back at all. I'm just keeping that focus on the shoulders. So just do the best you can here. Press in, feel that space between the shoulder blades, and then hug the spine with the shoulder blades. Beautiful. Nice. Low back staying nice and still. Excellent. Last one. When you're through, let's shift forward onto our bellies. So we're going to take a crocodile pose. Stack your forearms. Rest your forehead on the forearms. Adjust your legs, your hips, however they need to be so that the rotation in the hips feels okay. Just give yourself a moment. Maybe you want to wiggle the hips side to side. Maybe it feels nice to roll the forehead across the forearms a little bit. Maybe you just want to lay still and let all the tension just sink into the floor, into the mat. Now let's bring the forehead to the floor. Take your right arm out to the side. Your left hand is going to stay here planted next to the chest. And we're just going to take a roll onto the right side of the body. So we're just going to stretch the front of that right shoulder. So if you can come all the way onto the side, that's great. Just come over as far as you can. Remember, no pain. You just want to feel a deep stretch here. You might not be totally comfortable, but as long as it's not painful, you're okay. Just give it a little stretch. This left leg on top, you can lift it, bend the knee, and maybe bring the toes to touch behind you. Maybe you'd rather keep them stacked. You decide how far you're going in the pose. Just feel something right in the front, or in the front of that right shoulder. Breathe. The head is rested on the floor, right? We're not straining. Now let's come through center. Same thing left side. Left arm out. Let me move my water bottle. And we'll shift onto the left side of the body. See how it feels here? The side, notice the difference between the sides. That right leg, if you want to lift it, bend the knee and drop it behind you. You can go there or keep them stacked. And we'll return to center. Plant your hands. Actually, let's do one more thing here for a little bit of strength. Let's bring the forehead to the floor. Arms are going to come out at the sides. You're pressing your toenails into the floor. On your inhale, see if you can just lift the arms. Keep your forehead pressing into the floor and lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, hug the spine with those shoulder blades. Exhale, last one. Inhale, lift and hold. And release those hands down on your exhale. Press the sit bones back. Let's take the arms alongside the legs. So we're taking that little baby pose, right? We're in a little ball here, head to the floor, to the block. Arms are resting alongside the legs. Palms are facing upward. You're just releasing any tension now in the shoulders, all of it in the upper back and shoulders. And let's rise up to our tabletop. So 2 more moves here from tabletop, and then we're going to come to our feet. So come into your tabletop. We're going to work our thread the needle pose. So you might want to keep a block handy if you're not able to get the shoulder or the cheek to the floor. So let's take the right arm high. On your exhale, come down and through, thread your needle. On your inhale, unwind, open up. Exhale, thread your needle down and through. So as you do this, when you come down and through, you can come all the way down onto that shoulder if that feels comfortable for you, all the way down to the cheek. See if you can get the full movement as you move in and out of it. Beautiful, moving with your breath. Open up big on that inhale, exhale, rotating right underneath. Let's make this the last one. So we're going to come down onto the shoulder, onto the cheek. So notice, if you can't quite get the shoulder or the cheek to the floor, you can use the blocks, you can use a pillow, bringing that shoulder onto the block, cheek onto the block. You decide. So use your props if needed. Once you're in your pose, see if you can lengthen that left arm toward the top of the mat. Give it some length, some space here. And breathe. Notice that my hips are still over my knees, not pressing back too far. I'm keeping them stacked, rotating at the navel. And we'll come back to center and rise up. Now we're going to go right into the left side. Inhale, open. Exhale, thread your needle. Inhale, unwind. Exhale, thread your needle. Open and rotate. Beautiful. Find your rhythm with your own breath. Looks good. Breath is the leader, remember, so you're slowing down the movement to match your breath. Don't speed up your breath to match the movement. All right, let's give it a hold. So next time you exhale, thread your needle, come down onto that left shoulder, left cheek. If you need those blocks or a pillow, put them under there. And then slide that right arm to the top of your mat. Very nice. Keep on breathing. Noticing the differences between the sides of your body. All right, let's come on back up to center. We'll take one more moment in child's pose of choice. Okay, now our final return to our tabletop. So here we're just going to work our downward dog. Remember, you have options with downward dog. So if this is not in your practice, you can modify, staying in tabletop, pressing back with one leg. You're on the, notice my foot, the ball of the foot's in connection with the floor. I'm pushing into the hands and pressing the heel back. So I'm getting still that arm strength, and I'm getting the stretch in the back side of the body, the back of the leg. And then of course I would alternate because we want to make sure we lengthen through both legs. So you can use that modification. If you want to join me in downward dog, you're going to plant your hands, take a little step back with your knees, roll your toes under, and on your exhale, we're pressing the sit bones toward the sky. So knees are bent, I'm on my tiptoes. I'm going to press into my hands, activating my arms, press my sit bones a little higher, and start to pedal. One heel and then the other. So you're either in tabletop, alternating one leg and then the other back. Downward dog, we're alternating one heel and then the other. All the while, breathing, scanning the body, noticing what you're feeling. All right, those of you in tabletop, continue to alternate. Those of you in downward dog, let's press the heels toward the floor. Soften your head and neck between your arms, gaze back through your feet. Maybe you can take the sit bones a little higher, and maybe you can take the chest a little closer to the thighs. Nice. Now let's all gaze forward from tabletop or downward dog. Step up with one foot, then the other. Bend your knees and take a ragdoll pose. So you're kind of hanging out here, right? Over those bent knees. Head is soft. Arms are soft. You can just let the weight of the body take care of the stretch. Or maybe you want to hold on to your biceps. Sway side to side. Maybe you want to swing the arms, stir the soup pot, nod the head. Whatever you feel like you need here, take care of yourself. On your next exhale, keep your knees bent. We're going to roll up the spine and come into mountain pose. So when you're ready, mountain pose, feet hips width apart, toes at 12 o'clock, arms are at the sides, palms face forward. You're going to lift your toes and spread them and lower them back to the floor. Now we're going to think about screwing the feet into the floor. So to do this, bring a soft bend to your knees and then spiral your thighs like you're trying to draw your thighs inward. When you do that, you'll automatically feel your feet screwing into the floor. Pelvis is neutral. Hip points to low ribs. Grow the spine out of the pelvis. Shoulders come back, shoulder blades down and in, and the crown is reaching for the ceiling. That's your mountain pose. So even here in mountain pose, even though you're relaxed, you're energized. You should feel steady and balanced. And you should be able to tune yourself back in to those three anchors of mindfulness: breath, body, and mind. Now let's begin to move. On our inhale, arms are going to come high. Reach overhead. Soften your shoulders. Lift your chest. On your next exhale, begin your forward fold flow. Let the fingers brush. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hinge at the hip crease, long flat back. Fingers brush. Inhale, lead with your arms, shoulders up or back. So continue here to move with your own breath. Very nice. This time on the next exhale, we're going to fold and hold. So we'll plant the hands. Fingers, hands rest on something. The floor, the blocks dialed in at any height. So we have that same idea here, right? We're still trying to soften the knees. We still want to screw those feet into the floor. So inner thighs, draw inward. Once you're there, see if you can press your sit bones just a bit higher. And see if you can grow your spine, lengthen it. So it's almost like you're cascading even closer to those thighs. Belly and chest coming closer. Soften any tension in your head or neck. And just let the stretch happen. So know that if folding all the way down isn't so great for you, you can always stay at that halfway point. If you need to keep the head above the heart, if you have uncontrolled high blood pressure, different things make that more beneficial. All right, now we're going to prepare to rise, but we're going to come into a balance. So know that that's going to happen on your inhale. Rise up, long flat back, arms come overhead. Find a focal point, your drishti, and see if you can lift the right knee. So you're pressing down through the left foot. Abs are engaged. Shoulders are soft. Lower down, and on your exhale, hinge. Long, flat back. Inhale, rise. Find your focal point. Lift the left knee. Lower down. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, rise. Interlace your fingers, steeple finger grip with your index finger. And on your exhale, reach up and over to the right. So those fingertips, those index fingers, it's like you want to press them into the wall and ceiling crease. Grounding down into the left foot as much as you're grounding down into the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, up and over to the left. And return to center. Lower the hands to heart. Take a few moments here to recover. All right, so now we're going to go through each side, a sun A and traditional sun B. Then we're going to take a little recovery. We're going to do one standing pose. We're going to work through chair, and then we're going to go into the mandala. And the mandala is really based off of the sun A. So you'll be warmed up enough to do that. So let's start with our sun A, hands to heart. Inhale, arms high. Lift the chest. Exhale, hinge. Long, flat back. Inhale, rise up halfway, this time above or below the knees. Rest your hands. Press into those arms, straighten them. Crown is reaching to the wall in front of you. Sit bones, tailbone reaching to the wall behind you. Staple your shoulder blades together. Nice. Lower down. Bend your knees, plant your hands. We're going to step back with the right foot, then with the left. Find a plank pose. So plank pose, your shoulders are over your wrists. Your knees are either rested on the floor or they're lifted. Pushing through the floor with your whole hand. Feel those shoulder blades. Breathe into that space between them. Hips to ribs, ribs to hips, and if the knees are lifted, heels are pressing back. Exhale, rock forward, lower down. We're going to be doing a lot of that move today. This one here, this chaturanga, from plank to baby cobra, hover. Exhale, lower. Press your sit bones back to child's pose or roll your toes under, plank to down dog. Gaze forward. Step up right, then left. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to heart. Breath in and out. Breath in and out. All right, let's begin left side, one movement, one breath. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left foot, then right. Exhale, rock forward, lower down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, lower. Child's pose to tabletop or plank to down dog. Inhale, gaze forward. Step up left, then right. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to heart. And out. Breath in and out. All right. Now I think we're going to skip the sun B. We're going to go into the mandala, but now that we're warmed up, I think I'd rather do it that way. So now we're going to start the mandala, and we're going to work into those lunge poses just like we would do when we're in sun B. And we're going to try to keep it mainly to the floor, other than when we come into the wide leg forward or wide leg fold. So I'll show you that when we get there. So let's begin again when you're ready. We're going to inhale. So remember, listen auditorily because we are going to be turning around and doing some poses to the back of the room and then circling back around up front. Inhale, arms go high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, lower. Step back right foot, then your left to plank. Remember, I told you we're going to be doing a few of these today, right? Exhale, rock forward, lower down. On your inhale, choose your cobra. Come on up. Exhale, lower down. Child's pose to tabletop or plank to down dog. Now on your inhale, we're going to step forward with the right foot. Come down to your left knee. So we're coming into that low lunge. The right knee is stacked over the ankle. We have space between the knees. Tuck your tail, sink your hips. So nothing so much too different, right? As yet, lift. Lift your chest. Now on your next exhale, come upright, and we're going to rotate to the right. So the right arm comes back, Left arm is forward. So to the side, you'll see me like this. So a little rotation. Inhale, come back to center. Now we're going to plant the hands inside here because we're going to come off of the back leg and we're going to pivot to the long edge of the mat for a wide leg forward fold. So get yourself up here as best you can. Toes pointing to the wall in front of you, heels pressing out. Find your wide leg forward fold here. You can grab a hold of the ankles and pull yourself down. You can rest your hands on the floor or the block, wherever it is for you, but find your best edge here in this wide leg pose. All right, now let's press into the hands, come up about halfway. Now we're pivoting to the back of the room, right? So we're going to come into a low lunge to the back of the room. That means my left knee is forward, my right knee is down to the floor. We're going to inhale, rise. Now we're going to change this up a little bit here. So you're going to probably have to turn and look at the camera just for a moment. I'm going to take my right foot and I'm going to pivot it behind me. So I'm kind of in a side lunge here, right? Toes pointing back to the wall behind me. That left knee is pointing to the back of the room, toes pointing to the back of the room. See if you can sink into your hips a bit and take a warrior one on your knee here, right? So if I turn this way, we look like this. All right, this is all to the back of the room. Now we're going to move into a kneeling extended side angle. So let's take the elbow to the thigh and reach that top arm to the back of the room. Or maybe that hand can come to the floor or to the block. Beautiful. Now from here, we're going to rise up. That back foot, that right foot is going to point back to the top of your mat, right? The real front of your mat. And we're going to take the right hand to the thigh. And the left hand is going to high five the back wall. So you're still facing the back of the room. So that hand to the thigh, top hand to the sky. All right, now we're going to windmill back down. Step back to your plank pose. Still facing the back of the room. On your exhale, rock forward, lower down. Inhale, choose your cobra. Exhale, lower. Child's pose to tabletop or plank to down dog. Now we're going to come back up, stepping up with that right foot again. So we're still facing the back of the room. Right foot steps up. Come down to your left knee. Inhale, arms go high. So we're back into that low lunge. On the exhale, we're going to rotate to the right. So right arm reaches back, left arm forward, just like we did when we were facing forward. That little rotation. Inhale, back to center. On your exhale, plant your hands so that you can pivot to the long edge of the mat. So the opposite side this time. Wide leg forward fold. Toes pointing to that wall in front of you. Heels press out. Hinge. Find that wide leg forward fold. Second one. So see how deep you can get into it. Press those sit bones nice and high. Inhale, rise up halfway. Now we're going to pivot back to the front of the room. So now it's those left toes that are in front, right? Come down to the right knee. Beautiful. Inhale, arms go high. So now you remember that kneeling warrior two? We're going to do that this time. So it's that right foot. It's going to pivot behind you, right? So see how it's sideways? My left knee stacked. Sink into the hips. Come into that kneeling warrior two. So if I turn to the side so you can see me, I look like this, right? I'll do it this way just so you can see better, but no, I would be facing the top of my mat. Now let's take that extended side kneeling position. So elbow to thigh, reach up and over, or you can plant that hand to the floor of the block. Just sink into those hips. Now let's rise up. So this right foot, it's going to pivot straight again, adjust my hips, sink, and I'm going to take my right hand to thigh, left hand high-fiving the back wall. Nice. Return both arms up. Plant your hands. We're going to push off that back foot. Step up to the top of your mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to heart. Breath in and out. Breath in and out. All right. So just give me some feedback here. Thumbs up. Was it? Did you guys get that? Kind of got the idea? All right, perfect. So now we're going to do it the left side. All right. Starting on the left side. So hands to heart. Let's begin. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, lower. So now we're going to step back first, left foot, then right to plank. Another one of these chaturangas, right? Exhale, rock forward, lower down. On your inhale, take your cobra. Exhale, lower. Child's pose to tabletop or plank to down dog. You decide. Now here, we're stepping up with the left foot. Left foot comes up between the hands. We're dropping down to the right knee. So we're in that kneeling lunge facing the top of the mat. Inhale, arms go high. Tuck your tail, sink those hips, get into them there. Now, do you remember that rotation? We're going to rotate to the left. Left arm reaches back, right arm reaches forward. Still sinking into those hips. Nice. Inhale, back to center. Now we're planting the hands, and we're going to pivot to that wide leg forward fold, long edge of the mat. So just getting up there however you can. Find that wide leg forward fold on the blocks, on the floor, grabbing the ankles. Where can you go with this? Now rise up halfway. So here's where we go to the back of the room. So we're going to walk the hands, pivot, lower down to that left knee. I'm in that low lunge to the back of the room. Inhale, arms go high. Now we're going to take that left leg, spiral it behind. So now I'm coming into that kneeling warrior two to the back of the room. So I'm sinking into the hips, right knee stacked over the ankle, arms to shoulder height. Breathe. Sink into those hips as best you can. Feel something. Getting deep into those inner thighs here. Now let's take that extended side angle. Right elbow to thigh. Left hand is reaching up and over to the back of your room. You can always take that right hand to the floor or to a block as well. Keep that rotation. That rib cage is open. Grab a hold of it if you can with your left hand and rotate it. All right, now let's rise up. Scoot that left foot back to the back of the room. Inhale, arms high. Let's drop that left hand to the left thigh. Right hand is high-fiving the front of your room. Now we're going to lower down. Step back to your plank pose. Rock forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower. Back to tabletop or child's pose. Or child's pose to tabletop, or, I'm sorry, plank to down dog. Now it's the same deal here. Left leg is stepping up. So we're back into that kneeling lunge, front of the room. Inhale, rise. Exhale, pivot. Inhale. Plant your hands. Come back to your wide leg forward fold. Now we're going to come to the front of the room. So now that right foot's in front, drop to the left knee. Or I'm sorry, the left foot is in front. We're dropping to the right knee. Inhale, rise. So left foot, low lunge. All right, now let's come up. We're pivoting. Right foot behind. Warrior two. Extended side to the front of the room. Come on back up. Scoot that right foot, point it behind. Come into your kneeling lunge. And then if you can, drop that right hand to the right thigh. Left hand high-fiving the back wall. Exhale, windmill down. Roll the toes under. Prepare to push off. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to heart. Breath in and out. Breath in and out. Beautiful. Now, I do think that I had you do something twice at the back end. I kind of got a little out of sorts with myself. But with all that being said, even with kind of goofing it up a little bit, look where we landed, right? So we have challenge. We move through, things happen, we turn, we twist around, but we ended up at the top of our mat right where we started. So let's take a moment here, just in mountain pose, to just take that all in. Giving yourself your body scan, knowing that even though we got redirected at one point, we still got home. All right, blink your eyes open. You guys ready for a little bit more work? We're going to work a chair pose today, but we're going to use our block. So we're going to go from, take both of your blocks, place one in front, any height, and we're going to use one for between our thighs. So we're going to work our chair pose, building extra strength. So the goal here is to keep the block squeezing tightly between the thighs. So once you're there, feet are hips width, place that block there, and you're squeezing it, you're gripping it with the thighs. This is really going to help you stay engaged as you move in and out of chair into Uttanasana, forward fold. All right. So the idea is to try to keep that block there. Don't let it fall out as you move from chair to forward fold. All right. So let's begin. Let's take our arms high, grip that block. So just gripping that block, right? You're getting those legs into that position that you need them to be. The muscles are engaged. Now on your next exhale, bend the knees, press your sit bones back. Inhale, arms forward. So here we are gripping that block. Now we're going to move into forward fold. Exhale, squeeze the block, hinge at the hip crease, plant the hands. On your next inhale, bend the knees, lift the chest, come into chair. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift to chair. I want you to find your own breath here. I know it's a challenge, working hard to keep that block squeezed, right? Yes, fantastic. Same thing here. When you come into that Uttanasana, you're pulling the belly in and up as you press your sit bones high. All right, I'm going to have you do one more. And when you come to chair, we're going to hold it. So once you're there, squeeze that block. Take a look down. Can you see your toes? Can you wiggle your toes? The weight's in the heels, right? Lift your gaze in your chest. Breathe. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hinge. Fold into your forward fold. Hold it here. Now let's all plant our hands to the block in front and slide the other block out from your legs. You can just put that off to the side. We're going to work something called a Jiva Squat. So dial that block in, whatever height you need, okay? If you need a chair, if you have to come up higher, you can use a chair, whatever it is you need. So from here, we're going to take the right leg up a little bit off the floor. So we're finding a balance. On your exhale, we're going to bend that left knee. See if you can touch your left calf with your right knee. And then inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend, come in like a little ball, touch knee to calf. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend and touch. Inhale, lengthen. Couple more on your own. So we're getting some balance here. Again, use a chair, use the block, whatever you need to do. Yes, beautiful. Pull it in. Right? It's almost like that knee to nose when you're in cat-cow. All right. Now we're going to bring that knee to calf and hold. Breathe. Now on your inhale, straighten that leg. See if you can send that right leg up a little higher and see if you can hinge a little bit deeper from the hip crease, coming into a one leg forward fold or a split, standing split. And release. Drop the feet. Inhale, rise up. And take a moment, right? You should need a little moment here. That was tough work. Shake it all out. All right. So now we know we have to do the other side. So with that block in front, whatever height you need or your chair, let's take a big inhale. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands on something, the block, dial it in. It might be different on this side. So now we're going to lift that left leg a little bit off the floor. Hip height or lower. On your exhale, bend the right knee, touch that back calf with your left knee, and then inhale, straighten. Exhale, knee to calf. Inhale, straighten. Beautiful. Couple more. Knee to calf. Inhale, straighten. Looking good. Yes, perfect. Keep it going with your own breath. All right, now we're going to prepare for the hold. Knee to calf, hold. Make yourself into that little ball. And straighten, hold. Hinge if you can a little bit more at that hip crease. So that standing split. And bring that foot down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to heart. Beautiful. Let's take another moment here just to come back to our own center, to our own place, releasing any tension, letting the breath and heart rate slow and regulate. All right, we'll blink the eyes open. Be sure your blocks are out of the way here. We're going to work tree pose, so we're going to work more balance. I'm all about challenging you today, because know that even through those challenges, you're going to end up okay. At the end, we're all going to be in Shavasana on our backs relaxing, right? Okay, so let's start with tree pose. Find your focal point, your drishti. Shift the weight into your left foot. Let's outwardly rotate right. So right now you're kickstanding, right? Those toes are on the floor. Pull that left hip in and up away from that opposite wall. Notice how you have to engage your abdominals here. The spine gets long. See if you can lift your toes off the floor. If you're pretty comfortable with that, maybe you can plant your foot inside your calf or inside the thigh. When you make that connection, press them into one another. Press the foot and leg into one another. Maybe you can bring your hands to heart. Maybe you can grow your branches. We're hanging out in here in tree. So if you're holding it and your leg starts to fatigue, come on out, shake it out, go back in. If you're struggling with the balance today, who cares? Give it some tries, see how you do, and then you can come back to Tadasana. Remember, we don't want to get too focused. If it's like, oh, you know, I could do this yesterday, now today I don't have it, so what? We have to be willing to let go when our body wants us to. All right, let's come on out. Give yourself a little break. Shake out those legs, hip circles. What do you need here? All right, other side. Rotate. Weight into the right leg. That right hip's pulling away from the wall. See if you can lift your toes. Then maybe plant the foot. Abs on. Hands to heart. Grow your branches. Where do you need to be? One thing you need to be doing is breathing, right? We're holding the pose, not the breath. And release. Beautiful. Shake it out. From here, we're going to come down to the floor. So take a big inhale. Exhale, fold. Take a step back to plank and come onto your stomach. We're going to take a Sphinx pose here. So we're going to come onto the elbows, forearms, elbows beneath the shoulders, wrists directing out from those elbows. Chest is lifted. Now imagine you're dragging your elbows back toward your hips. It's pressing the chest forward even more. and lower down. Now from here, I'm just going to have you roll onto your back. Keep your blocks right near you. Hug your knees into your chest. And rock side to side. Now let's place the hands beneath the sacrum, palms facing down. So hands are under the low back for support. We're going to work a little bit of core strength here. Send your legs high to the sky. So on your exhale breath, you're going to start to lower those legs down. Come only down as far as you can, keeping your low back pressing into your hands. When the back starts to pull away, then you're going to bring the knees in and send them back up again. Exhale, lower. Slow and controlled, watching that low back. Then inhale in and up. Exhale as you come down. So the stronger your core, the lower you're going to be able to get those legs without the back pulling away. That comes with strength. So you're just building that strength. Continue to move. Even if those legs only come down a few inches and you feel it, you're still building strength. Let's make this the last one, and we're going to hold it. See if you can breathe. Holding onto the pose. Don't let that back give up. So that means your abs are on. Nice. Pull those legs in. Let's rock side to side. All right, so now I'm going to offer you a challenge. So your first option, you're taking your hands, resting your head in your hands, the fingertips right to the sides of your head. We're going to take the right leg long and bring your right elbow toward the left knee. So a little bit of an alternate crunch here, a little twist. Then come back in. Send the left leg long, left elbow to right knee. Back to center. Elbow to knee. And in. Elbow to opposite knee. And in. So I suggested a challenge here. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it with this block. And this is only if you want to try, just for some fun. If you take the block the long way between the knees and you have that block sticking out a little bit, you might be able to take your one elbow, opposite elbow or knee, and hold on to the block. Then you'll come back, grab onto it with both knees, switch elbows, squeezing that block. See, I lost the block there between the elbows, and back. Grab a hold. Elbow to block, and back. Elbow to block, and back. So if you want to try that fun challenge, you can. If not, just continue a few more times. Side to side, opposite elbow to knee. In my defense here, I'm using those cork blocks. Those are heavy. Not that I would have done any better the other way, but if you have those cork blocks, it's an added challenge. Last one each side. And release. Hug those knees in, rock side to side. And take your arms wide out to the side, shoulder height. Drop your knees to the right. Turn your gaze to the left. And then we'll come through center. Realign your hips if you need to. Let your knees drop to the left. Gaze to the right. Return to center. Send your legs long. Reach the arms to the wall behind you. Press your low back into the floor for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Let it all go. Let's take a moment in our final relaxation pose. So come into Shavasana, or maybe you'd like legs up the wall or legs over your chair, wherever you want to go with that. Find yourself in your comfortable pose. Get your blanket, your pillow. Close your eyes. Let your body rest. Allow a moment to feel the weight of your body into the floor. Maybe let the muscles start to soften around the bones. Just begin to connect with your body. Scan your body from the crown of your head down to the tips of your toes. Become aware of the shape of your body and relax any areas that hold tension. Begin to notice your breath. Feel the rhythm of your inhalations and exhalations. Allow your breath to feel more and more spacious and expansive. Next, check in with your mind. Observe the thoughts drifting to and from your mind. Notice whether these thoughts have been making you anxious and tense. Notice where you hold anxiety in your body. Acknowledge that these thoughts and emotions cannot harm you. They are mere sensation. Breathe and relax. Then, allow yourself to feel grateful and hopeful for the coming year. Even if that feeling is the size of a pinprick, feel it create a spark at the center of your chest. Then recognize that abundance, joy, and love await you in the coming year. As you deepen your breath, allow the breath to create space in your body. Space for all of these blessings. Finally, set your intention for the new year. What would you like to invite or cultivate in 2022? Perhaps you'd like to live a healthier lifestyle. Maybe you're looking for love or romance. Maybe you're wanting to heal current relationships. Either way, set one goal and intention. With the spaciousness you've created in your body, allow that intention to take root within you. Then fill this intention with positive feelings and good sensations. Feel that small pinprick of hope spread across your chest. Feel lightness as you do this. And then we'll end our practice today with these affirmations. Repeat it in your mind. I have unlimited potential and can achieve whatever I want to. I let go of my fears and trust the coming year. Peace, peace, peace. Now, when you feel ready to return to your day, give yourself a moment to do so. Bring some movement to your fingers, your toes, your head and neck. Then gently rub the palms of your hands together and place your warmed hands over your eyes. Open your eyes to the warmth and energy of your own hands. Then slowly draw your hands down and let in the remaining light. Take a moment to massage your temples, your forehead, or maybe you want to open up to a stretch or hug your knees in, whatever feels right. Then finally, before returning to your seat, take a moment to roll to the right side of your body. Allow the weight of your body to melt away from your heart and let your heart feel light. Then when you feel ready, rise to your seat, taking a comfortable seated pose for just a moment of gratitude to your body for bringing you to your mat, for moving you through all of the poses, and for allowing you a moment of stillness. A moment to acknowledge the positive energy that each of us has brought to the space today. And together, we say namaste. Thank you. Have a great day.